At the beginning of the 20th century, there was the Edwardian era, an era known for elegance and luxury among the rich and powerful in Great Britain. It was also the time for mass migration to the New World, the United States of America, with the only mode of transportation being via the sea, and more people wanted to cross to the New World for a better life. The demand for transatlantic crossing rose sharply. More ships, bigger ships, were needed. During this time, there were two major ocean liner companies in Britain: the White Star Line and the Cunard Line. Both lines seemed to match and rival one another. To get ahead of the competition, Cunard Lines commissioned two large vessels. With the launch of these two new wonders, the White Star Line began to fall behind and thus had to act. In 1907, a year after the launch of both Mauretania and Lusitania, a meeting began between J. Bruce Ismay, the chairman of the White Star Line, and Lord William Pirrie, chairman of Harland and Wolff. Harland and Wolff were a shipping company based in Belfast and created most of the ships that White Star Line owned. The meeting took place at Lord Pirrie's residence in London. They discussed how best to match and above all surpass Cunard in both prestige, elegance, luxury and size. Here the first design of a ship would be drawn. This ship would initially have 3 funnels, and it was discussed that to rival Cunard they would need 2. However, if they wished to surpass Cunard, they would need 3. This was all but a gentleman's agreement, however. After the initial meeting, William Pirrie would speak with his brother-in-law, Alexander Carlyle, and they discussed and designed a new class of liners. Together they would bring in Thomas Andrews, William Pirrie's nephew, who was being groomed to take over Harland and Wolff for the future. Designs were drawn and drawn again, until it was decided that to match the majesty of the Lusitania class, they would need to give the ships not 3 funnels, but 4, although the 4th funnel would not be a working funnel. It would be purely prosthetic, a trinket. These final designs were put towards Bruce Ismay. Bruce Ismay was delighted, and he signed off there and then for the ships to be created. At the shipyards in Belfast, Ireland, extensive remodelling was made, and 2 massive slipways in excess of 840 feet long by 270 feet wide were made. These were the largest slipways in the world. These slipways can still be seen in Belfast today. These would house the new ships as they were being built. On the 31st of March 1909, in the second slipway, ship yard number 401, Titanic, would have its keel laid, and work would begin. The name Olympic was given to RMS Olympic to state size, luxury, and the biggest ship in the world. It would rival the gods. As for Titanic, it would take its name from the rivals of the gods on Mount Olympus, the Titans. Olympic would be pushed through the water using 3 propellers. While a third propeller, a massive 4-bladed central propeller, 10 times the size of a human being, would be added to the stern. This would be driven by a turbine that would use recovered steam that would be escaping from the triple expansion engines. The use of escaped steam was tested on the SS Laurentic in 2 years prior to the construction of Olympic. Olympic was designed as a luxury ship. She would be a grand ship, a lavish ship. The first-class passengers would enjoy luxurious cabins. Some would be equipped with private bathrooms. First-class passengers could have meals in the ship's large and luxurious dining saloons, or in the more intimate a la carte restaurant. There was 2 staircases on Titanic, one in the forward section and one in the aft. The staircase in the forward would be the grand staircase, the main staircase to the ship. This would be luxurious, beautiful, and modelled on the Palace of Versailles. Behind the staircases there would be 3 lifts. These would go down to E deck. A Georgian-style smoke room would be added, a veranda cafe decorated with palm trees, a swimming pool, Turkish bath, a gymnasium, and several other places for meals and entertainment were placed within the first-class suites. The second-class facilities included a smoking room, a library, a spacious dining room, and a lift. For the third class? The third class, however, which would be the people who would take up the bulk of the tickets that would be bought. These would have reasonable accommodation by the standards of their time. Their cabins were no longer like what they were on most ships, where there would be large dormitories. They would have individual cabins, which could house and sleep up to 4 people. It would have a wash basin within and a toilet. However, they would all end up sharing one bathroom on the ship itself for the entire third class. They would also be given meals, much more extravagant than what they would be used to. Olympic had a cleaner and sleeker look than other ships of the day, rather than fitting her with bulky exterior air vents like what was on most ships and also on the Lusitania class. Holland and Wolff would use smaller air vents with electric fans, and the dummy funnel would also have a ventilation system added to it. In terms of the power plant, Holland and Wolff employed a combination of reciprocating engines with a central low-pressure turbine, as opposed to the steam turbines used on the Lusitania class. White Star had successfully tested these engines set up on the SS Laurentic, where it was found to be more economical than expansion engines or turbines alone. Olympic consumed on her main voyage 650 tons of coal per 24 hours with an average speed of 21.7 knots. For Lusitania and Mauritania, they would use 1,000 tons of coal per 24-hour cycle. The watertight bulkheads on board the Olympic and Titanic were of a design specific to the Olympic class. They would go much higher than most ships of her time. Bulkheads A, B, and bulkheads K through to P would reach D deck, and bulkheads C to J would reach E deck. Each bulkhead came with a set of watertight doors. The doors used a revolutionary new system where they would be closed from both engineering and the switch on the bridge. They also had an additional safety feature, a pressured switch behind each door which would be fitted. If the ship started taking on water in a specific compartment with the bulkhead doors open, then the pressure switch would trip, closing the bulkheads and sealing the compartment before it could flood any other part of the ship. During the construction of the ships, Alexander Carlisle would try to focus on safety, to think the unthinkable. He would propose that Olympic class would be fitted with 16 lifeboat stations, 4 boats connected to each station, giving a total of 64 lifeboats. This would be more than enough for the passengers on board, and would greatly exceed the lifeboat requirements by the Board of Trade. The Board of Trade at the time catered for lifeboats by tonnage of the ship and not capacity. This decision, however, was later overturned by Bruce Ismay and Lord Peary, citing that having too many lifeboats would clutter the deck and undermine the safety of the vessel in the public's eye, a decision which would later prove to be a fatal error. Angered by the lack of foresight, Alexander Carlisle left the project, giving way for Thomas Andrews to be promoted to chief designer. Carlisle would never design another ship again. Olympic would be fitted with 18 lifeboats. Olympic would be fitted with 18 lifeboats, 4 lifeboats extra from what the border trade deemed necessary. On the 20th of October 1910, Olympic would be launched. Using soap, water and oil, Olympic would hit the water stern first.